And welcome to Baba Yaga's Dancing Hut, the Witch Hunters. So, last session, the party finally had an audience with Baba Yaga herself after a very close call with Night in the bathhouse. Always in the bathhouse, stuff goes down. But you seem to stop the fight just before it got too ugly. There was definitely like some spells cast back and forth between Twilight and Night, but the uh, yeah, the fight was brought to a close when you convinced him that Senrith was owed at least a trial of some sort, and it seemed as though he found this idea amusing and ordered you all to follow him. He led you into the dining hall where you were uh, given a fantastic offering of different foods, meal, wine. There's this kind of glossy uh, crystalline table which the food was decked upon, and a crystalline chandelier shone from above. And as you kind of stared at it, you could feel some sort of magic, basically washing away any ideas of betraying or fighting against Baba Yaga. It was a similar effect kind of felt to the fountain room in a way that kind of pacified you and produced an atmosphere of diplomacy and what's the word? Decorum. And Baba Yaga began to effectively put you all on trial, not just Senrith. She had a bowl of avocados in front of her, and as she finished one, she would seemingly place one of the seeds on one side of the table, possibly to represent how much favor or uh, not so much favor you have with her. Regardless, you resolved a lot of the issues that you'd spent in the hut itself. The phoenix being set free, turns out that was Baba Yaga preventing a danger from being unleashed upon the world. And you talked about the I think you resolved the issue with the menagerie, freeing everything as well as Senrith. Senrith actually took the fall for you, Ember, in the end. With like natural 20 on persuasion, basically convinced Baba Yaga that it was him who let himself kind of be unleashed like that. He could have done something to prevent it. He could have resisted Ember. But yeah, regardless, it was never kind of brought up that Ember was the one responsible. So Senrith took the blame. What else? There was a lot. There was a lot of said. There's a lot of talking last session. Can't remember all of it, but effectively each issue and each time that something came up, whether it be Dr. Geralf or the cracks in the hut, you seem to try and convince them. Oh yeah, and Eleanor and Jaden, of course. There we go. Now it's coming back. But overall, it seemed you gained her favor, though it seems to be a very kind of tenuous one. They still have two unresolved issues in the hut. One, Dr. Geralf seems to be amassing an army of undead. They are sprawling across the hut, stealing from her bone museum, and generally causing havoc amongst the other denizens of the hut. He has been declared, war has been declared on Dr. Geralf at this point, and she wants you to basically wipe out the undead and drag him from his little laboratory, possibly to explain himself, or just to meet justice, whatever that may be. Either way, Baba Yaga is not pleased with him. The other issue is the leak in the hut, which is still yet to be resolved. It seems the Shadow Beast wasn't responsible. The Ladorvu's breath wasn't responsible, and you still yet to kind of figure out what it is. Where is this damn leak? Something in the hut is not right, and that's your other kind of mission. The other one Baba Yaga mentioned was to go and retrieve Natasha, but she wasn't really pleased with anyone's answer, saying that, yeah, we'll go find her for you, but we're not forcing her to come back. It's her choice. Clearly wasn't happy with that. So Senra decided he would stay and help you guys instead, rather than go and find Natasha. And I think lastly, the conversation between Daya and Baba Yaga was a interesting one. It seemed as though Daya trod carefully through the conversation so as not to necessarily offend Baba Yaga, but at the same time, you stood your ground, stating that you did not owe her anything, that it was by happenstance that you did come upon the stars, and that you have what you need to effectively finish your quest. But Baba Yaga didn't really aid in that. In fact, she at one point was kind of demanding that the stars were hers and that you still owe her for something. There was a conversation about whether you can even own the stars and whether they do truly belong to her now that Dawn has finished his job. So technically, shouldn't it be an exchange back? Either way, it seemed all very on the fence, very grey, and as a result, this one avocado is left kind of in the center. After that, though, Baba Yaga did stand up and tell Tarek that, as at least an offering of help to Daya, that she will take the hut to House Grey Fox. And that is exactly what's in the process right now. Tarek kind of swooshed away and then returned, saying that destination has been set up. So, with that, we can dive in.
Well, you mean like right now? We would go to Daya's to the forest?
Well, it seems that is the way that things are flowing, and better to return what has been lost sooner rather than later.
Daya, you would be a queen. You would be a hero to your people. Imagine the power that you would possess. It would be an incredible. Maybe today is your day of destiny. That would be a really kind thing to do, Baba Yaga. You're so kind that you would do such a thing for Daya. She couldn't help but really appreciate you and all your generosity and splendor. It'd be such a nice thing to do. Absolutely.
Is Baba Yaga still in the room?
She is, and she's kind of stood up. She looks like she's about to leave, but she does say, "Yes, well, I should hope that after this is all dealt with, Dyer and I will sit down and have a nice conversation, a renegotiation."
She would be so lucky to have you. Give her some of your time. I couldn't imagine such a better thing to have happen for somebody. I'd love if we could spend some time together too. It would be great.
Oh yes, of course. Don't worry, Amber. You'll get yours.
Yeah. I can't help but look forward to it. Thank you
Don't
for
know
everything
why
that you
that
do,
would
Miss Yaga. Have a wonderful afternoon.
And
She also, another thing I remember now, she has given you a cloud key as well, Dyer. Slid it
Yes.
across the table, saying that you can have Lady Mora's.
and I shall await whatever you have in store for me with anticipation, I suppose.
Indeed, yes. Once you've returned, perhaps we will have a little talk. But Geralt is on the top of the priority list as well.
Oh, he's
Of course.
terrible. How could he hurt you and damage your hut? He reprehensible individual. You'll be
Whatever
dealt
he's
with
doing,
swiftly.
seems he's gone rogue. And there are few worse things than a rogue mad scientist.
Absolutely.
Yes.
If you will excuse me, I must, of course, make sure the hut is ready for launch.
Well, that sounds so exciting. I've never been to Elk Forest before, Daya. This is gonna be great.
Well,
Night.
my lady
Uh,
mother, we are we are happy to be finally visiting this place, and you have our gratitude for for taking the hut out of its way, even briefly.
she nods and says, "Yes, well, I have a little bit to spare, but
Hmm.
the sooner this leak is dealt with, the less of a concern it'll be. Now, come night." And she opens up the door behind her, and begins to leave, Knight escorting behind as well.
Anna, isn't she just so wonderful?
Uh. Oh yeah. I was like-
Has the chandelier stopped glowing now?
It hasn't yet, no.
Yes, she's a very
We're so
esteemed
lucky to have
host.
her. Absolutely, we're so lucky to have her. Have us dine with her. Can you imagine? So many people would want such an opportunity. She is so gracious. Oh my goodness.
Are you
I
Shall
ill?
find my.
we shall we maybe wait somewhere else? Different room, maybe the library, the kitchen. Ember, would you like a snack?
Well,
Maybe the
Sure.
bathhouse.
The bathhouse.
if
Yeah.
Just give me one more minute, Di. I just want to. I've never had such a privilege in my life to be in the presence of such a powerful and unique individual. I want to remember this
You've
for forever
literally
and
talked to
ever.
her before.
I'm
if
going
we
to
if
I'm gonna walk over and manhandle him and just pick him up under
Ah,
my
if,
arm.
if we're planning to exit the hut, would it
Okay,
perhaps
fine. I'm
not be
going
best
there.
to
What are you
wait
doing?
near the front door, or at least
I
within that
wonder
vicinity?
how long it takes to get there.
You can make
Well,
some
Eleanor,
potions while we're there.
I'm
Eleanor
assuming
says,
it's just going
"Oh,
to be
well,
instant.
that's what the cloud key is for, Dara. You can use it in any door.
Oh yes, any door will take us back to the front door.
Any door will become the front door. Yes.
Yeah,
And
so we
Inserting
any
into
can
the
door
leave
lock
from any
door.
within the
point.
hut, or any door
You can
leading to
enter
the
or
outside.
leave from any door with the cloud key.
Fascinating.
So
Fantastic.
yeah, literally the way it works, if you're inside the hut, any door will become the front door, and if you're outside the hut, any door will become the front door.
That rocks.
Elena, how do we?
So,
Sorry. Go ahead, James.
yeah, so any door within the hut is an exit via the front door, and any door outside is an entrance.
Correct. Yeah, that's the
Essentially.
one.
Elena,
That's it.
how would
Yeah.
we? Say we wanted. There's five of us, right? Not just Daya. Say we wanted to all go. How would we retrieve the key after the last person exits the door? How does that work?
The door remains in that kind of state for about a minute or so.
Oh, okay. That's really good.
As long as we all enter and leave together, we should be fine then, right?
I would
Yeah.
suggest that yes, don't close the door until everyone else is through. I would say.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
How will we know when we're there?
Well, there's no fasten your seatbelt sign, but you'll know when the hut moves. It's quite a disorientating effect.
All
I
right.
think Tarek's possibly the only one used to it. Yes, well, it depends on your perception of things. The hut
Yes.
doesn't exactly move itself, rather, the space around it is what's moving.
Interesting. So,
I know you think you're
not
being
so
helpful, but
not so much a teleportation spell, as it were, which moves you from place. It's more, it moves the place around you so that you're then in the right location.
He takes a slow nod.
That's, I mean,
Such is the power of the hut.
yeah. But surely it would be more efficient to just move the hut than move all of reality.
I was
Adonis
thinking the
eventually will
same
come to
thing.
understand these things.
There is no
power
such
is an issue.
spell. Mm.
No, I was just about to say the same thing. That if sufficient power is needed, wouldn't it be easier just to do a large teleportation spell than to move the entire universe? I'm a simple creature. What do I know?
Terry, don't let
He
these
says,
two bore you with their elementary. They haven't gone to school like you and I. They don't.
indeed, that is a possible way of mode of transportation, except that teleportation can have mishaps from time to time. You wish to get there 100%, the hut is the way to do so.
Ah, so what you're saying is in order to counteract those possible mishaps, you do it this way rather than doing traditional teleportation. Well, that
Precisely.
makes a certain amount of sense.
And as I am aware, there are not permanent teleportation circles within House Grey Fox, nor has there been for several hundred years.
7 millennium, in fact. Yes. Very well. I will leave it with the experts, Adonis, if it makes sense to you. I will
That's
trust
me.
you now.
Makes a certain
Alright.
amount of sense. Providing you think of things in a different manner to what one would normally expect.
Very simple, Adonis. See,
I believe it is time.
the House Grey Fox. Wonderful. Elves, Tanner. Get to see some of your own kind.
Yes.
Ah, the entire map just moved. That is surely
Wow,
a sign.
The hut's moving.
It is time, and you can see everything sort of shifts around you slightly, like a small blur. Some things remain intact in place, like certain objects, but the walls, the foundations of the room begin to almost kind of blur and shift and spin. And I need everyone to roll me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my Jesus.
What?
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Yay,
that's
I'm smart
7.
for
I'm
once.
super dizzy.
That's
Nope.
Wow,
should
am
be
I the
a-
only
That
one who...
one.
it's the same
What
thing.
is
Plus
going
3.
on? Oh my god.
Am I the only one who's gonna make this save?
Oh man, yeah, because you were the one who gets it. Like you said, the space moves around it. Everyone else is still figuring that out, and everything's just spinning in your heads. But it's not just spinning in your heads. It feels like your head is separate to your body, and your body is spinning, and then your head is kind of going in its own, like it's going on its own axis. It's disorientating. It's very peculiar, and I think you felt it once during the combat the other time when Ember accidentally took us to the elemental plane of Earth. But you were distracted then and in the midst of combat. But now it seems a dreadful mistake to suddenly be aware of what's actually going on, because that awareness is what's making you realize it is breaking reality as you know it. It isn't just any spell or magical parlor trick. No, this quite literally bends physics, bends reality in ways that your mind cannot comprehend. And you're just going to take a bit of 11 points of psychic damage.
Oof.
And,
Everyone
Ooh.
except Eridanus.
yeah,
Yipes. Okay.
Eridanus just goes. So it says you said, Tarek, the laws
Ember
of
just
physics are
vomits on the
twisted here until they scream.
Even he sort of like sort of braced himself for it.
Yeah, Di is visibly leaning on her quarterstaff for support.
Indeed, not the most graceful of moves. I believe that is a byproduct of the strain that the hut is under right now. Mm,
I
More
can lie
restrained
down
the
after that.
farther you
Oh,
go?
goodness.
Should I ever design this again, I will make sure that those inside the hut do not feel the inertia.
Yes. Or perhaps some sort, when they're ready, perhaps some sort of device so that they move with the inertia, if that makes sense.
Mm. Yes.
Go
seems
with
to
the
take-
flow of the movement rather than stay where they are as things move around them.
He seems to take mental note. Now, should you need me, I will be in the library. But he kind of looks at you, kind of like frowns for a long time. I should correct myself. When you need me, I will be in the library.
Thank you. I'm hoping this won't take long. I know we have other things to do. This is just a ceremonial delivery.
He seems to kind of groan, not like it's something's a hassle to him, but it's an uneasy, nervous groan. With that, you see him wisp away into sand
Can
and
I
disappear
insight
once
check
again.
whatever that was about?
Yes, yes, you can.
That highly suspicious groan? Dirty 20?
It is
Dirty 20.
a dirty 20. Very nice. He seems like, you know, when you're kind of embarrassed for someone else, kind of looked like that, but not maybe embarrassed. I'll say with a 20, you kind of felt like pain on your part,
Okay.
but
Oh.
but clearly didn't want to say. And then
Yeah.
he's gone.
Well, that's encouraging, I say to myself. And I'll say, well, do you want to wait in the library, or should I? You all, do you
Yeah.
want to come with? I can.
Well,
If you
I
feel safe, then we can catch you up.
I would at least like to travel with you. It'd be nice to see the stars in their natural place.
I don't know what it's going to look like when they're released, but it might be a bit of a show. But if you have
Oh
other
wait,
things
as
to
in
do,
to release.
I totally understand. Well, I believe all we have to do is all I have to do is open the flask in my home sky and bing bang boom magic.
Oh, well,
And
in
so-
that case, hell yeah. Well, calm down.
It's gonna
You'd
be
be
great,
welcome.
Daya. We'll be royalty amongst your people. We'll be heroes. I can't wait to have such an honor bestowed upon us.
It's not all about the royalties, Ember.
Well, think of of the good of this, Tanner. We'll be walking. I've never walked with such high regard before. My
You
my
don't
family has
say.
stature,
You
but
will earn respect, but not
well, no
adulation.
respect will just be given to us. It's easy, Daya. You've done everything. One second, 1 second. You heard me, right, Zankiri? You heard me. And Elena, things are
Elena.
Elena, sorry. Things are dangerous.
Yes, that's why I'm going to return back to my my chambers. Plus, I have someone I need to protect myself in there.
Are you still practicing with Terrig or well, Lady Mora? Not anymore, I guess. But perhaps you could learn something from this. And I'll pull out the spell book and I'll try to give it to her instead. Be like,
Which spell book is this?
this is the spell book from Kesserask. Kesserask spell book. It's got lots of
Kessera.
powerful spells in it. Lots of powerful spells in it.
Well, yeah, it is. Okay. He looks at it and
Uh,
says, "Oh, this belongs to
Start with
Kessera."
start with these ones first. They're a bit easier, but you could learn to do a lot of really cool things. You'll be really strong if you work hard at it. Get Terry to help you.
My sister learned a lot of these
Yeah,
very ones from
yeah,
this very
these.
spell book.
Yes, yeah. Well, that really. Oh,
Mm.
well, that's fantastic. You could learn just like her then. Kesseras taught her so well. This could be his legacy. This could he would love to have had the chance to teach you. Someone so powerful and beautiful and smart as you. He would. It would be
Divination
great.
was more his forte. I was more in conjuration, but
Well,
I will definitely have a look.
there's
Thank you.
there's
Just
some things in
beware,
here, and
Elena. There, if I may interrupt, whatever's in that book also led Kesseras to his doom. There may be powerful things in there that are beyond your control, beyond anyone's control.
you hear that, Zankiri? Make sure no harm comes to her.
I'm
But-
already doing that.
Good. I expect nothing but the best for people that work for me.
Right. If you're ready, Eleanor, let us return to your chambers. There is.
We'll talk soon, Elena. We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye bye.
She gives a small wave and holds the book close to her chest and heeds your warning. Okay.
Sorry about that, Dia. My apologies.
No, I'm not sure it's a great idea giving that book to anyone. I just
No, she's gonna do great, Dia. She's so cool. She's gonna do great things.
if she can make use of it, she could probably use the help. Yes.
I really would have rather given it to the child, but you didn't seem to want to have that happen. But Elena still has time to learn. She's only 20. She can she's got time.
I'm sure if there's anything in the book that the child can use, Elena will share it.
Out of
Hopefully, yeah.
curiosity, Ember, what language was that book written in?
Well, it was written in Runic Arcane. Very. It's a 101. If you go to the academy or any mage school, the first thing you learn is to read the arcane runes of spell writing. It's not a language per se. Like you speak common and you speak Fey of some kind. I don't really understand what you're saying when you're saying those things.
It's more, I was wondering whether someone like Kesseras
I can communicate with certain elementals.
would be in the same sort of way as our own, or as the standard magical runes. After all, he is what he is.
Chris, what would I know
Or what
about this
about-
question that Eridonis is asking me? Would I know anything different? Would I
What's the
think
question,
anything?
sorry?
Basically, I was asking if there was, because obviously the book was belonged to a mind flayer.
Yeah.
Is there anything different about the runes and stuff in it because he's a mind flayer sort of thing, or are
So-
they just standard magical runes?
Every wizard uses their own cipher in their own spellbook, which is something that takes a long time to figure out.
Decipher.
However, it does contain arcane spellcasting, not psionics,
Okay, interesting.
which leads you to believe. Well, you could roll an Arcana check if you want. There is both. Yeah, if you're both.
I love
interested
Arcana checks. Yes, please. Shit.
Yes.
which is confusing because you're not sure how on earth psionics work. Maybe psionics are a form of arcane, but that's something you've never come across before. That's odd. Nor have you really heard of mind flayers using psionics. Mind flayers using arcane either. You thought they just stuck to psionics, but you don't
Well,
have the
James-
answer. You're just left a bit befuddled.
So my
And
answer
in that-
stands, James.
Yeah.
Ember said that basically, he only completed 1 year of mage school before he got unceremoniously hoofed. So that's all he
Well,
knows. He can read
I-
the basic understanding of what constitutes the spell. He
Yes.
doesn't see anything else peculiar beyond that.
Yeah, I'm sure once Eleanor works out the ciphers that are being used, then there'll be at least some information there. After all, whilst he may specialize in divination, I can't imagine someone becoming as powerful as Kesserak seemed to be purely on divination.
Don't you underestimate Elena. She has the gift, I think.
I just want to
Well-
point out that after that disorientating effect, when the hut span is also when that charm effect ended, and the crystalline chandelier seemed to just dull down a bit. It wasn't as glitteringly bright as it was before.
Now, when you're under
So,
the effect of a charm spell, sometimes you know that you've been charmed, sometimes you don't. Would Ember know that he got fucked with?
to some degree, you would know that you wouldn't know that there was a spell cast, but you definitely felt like in this room, and still within this room, there is kind of an air of decorum and pacifism similar to the fountain, which will become even more evident if you left the room slightly feeling a little bit lightheaded. But you didn't see Baba Yaga cast a spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we rest before we visit House Grey Fox? Visit the forest, the woods.
What
I mean,
time of
I'm
day is it?
a little tired.
I think it definitely
I know
might
you're
be a good
excited, Daya,
idea.
but
Oh, do you live in the woods or in a city there? Snowg asks.
It is a small settlement deep in the woods.
Oh,
Not a city, bigger than a village.
big
But
spider,
very,
Snurg.
very rustic.
do you have your own little house as well? Like your own little hut?
No, I lived with the other monks in the temple. My family has a decent-sized house, not quite a manor. Why would you? Well, you're welcome to come visit if you like.
Oh, I'd have
We
to
haven't
see it.
much, but
But
I don't
I'd
know if
have.
that's a good idea, Daya. They might, fire arrows upon the sight of him.
Yeah, I don't want to get shot. Plus, I got some cleaning to do. He looks at the
Yes, you
mess
do. Get to
on the
work.
table. He goes over to the avocados.
no,
And
before you, do you think you
oh.
could bring perhaps a bottle of some sort of fruit brandy for us in the morning?
Oh yes, certainly.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to take one
Snurg.
with me if I might. The best you have.
I will go and grab that for you as soon as I finish here.
Of course.
Hey, don't touch. He comes over and starts kind of swatting you with a little napkin.
Eridanis is just looking at it.
You can see he uses the napkin to like wipe away a speck of dust on the glass cabinet.
Oh, apologies, I did not mean to make a mess. I was just having a look. It seems
That
an
sword,
odd.
Tanner.
It seems an odd decoration for a dining hall is an encased sword. I mean, the beasts on the walls, the books to some extent, but
Sounds like
a
a great
sword and a
decoration. You
dagger.
haven't been in many dining halls, have you, Eridonis? Of course there'll be
No.
a sword.
Yes, but in a glass case. Well,
Why would
actually,
What is confusing you,
actually-
Eridonis? This is very
actually,
simple. It's on
actually,
display.
Amber, you know exactly how many dining rooms I've been in because I've been with you the entire time I've been alive.
I'm still not sure that's true. Something odd about you. You're some kind of reincarnated spirit or something. I don't know what you are. But I'm sure you've been alive more than 5 days.
Well, this version of me has been around for 5 days, I suppose.
Version schmersion. Stop trying to play it cool.
I mean, I'm a water genasi. I always keep it cool.
So Eridonis has a tragic backstory.
But
Yep.
it's more,
Damn
I would
shame.
think, if you were considering this almost looks like the displays of a hunt with the sort of things on the wall.
Trophy.
You would think the sword would be more mounted than in a glass case, so that
Oh
that's
yeah,
more traditional.
these are monsters, I think.
Yeah. And a sword perhaps is a fitting decoration, but just a knife?
Oh, that's not necessarily used as a weapon, I don't think. At least I've never seen it being wielded one. I just polished the glass. I don't really know much of the histories of them.
Any runes on the sword, Chris?
Okay. You can roll an investigation check if you want to. Anyone who wants to
Good.
like look at the
Yeah. I'm gonna look at the
the
knife
hunt.
because it's more my style.
And you could also, if you want, look at the kills as well, the plaques with
Yeah.
the heads of different
Yeah.
creatures.
Would that be nature for those on the
Um,
heads?
you can use nature.
I know nothing of the knife. It just is a kind of
Yep.
cool looking knife to me, I guess.
It does look like a strange knife. It's got a bit of a stain on it though. You're not sure whether either intentionally left there, intentionally not cleaned, or whether it's just so stained that it cannot be cleaned at all. And that is, there's these specks of blood that seem to be coming from the hilt down the center of the blade. Yeah, it looks like dried blood.
Unusual, but
Um, the Other than that, you have no idea what it could be for or its purpose.
I
Emma,
wonder if they
you're
were used to kill, or if these are the trophies from the defeated enemies.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, on certain hunts, you might use, like, if you shot them down with an arrow, you might use a dagger to get between the ribs for like a finishing blow sort of thing, so to put them out of their misery quicker,
Hmm.
perhaps.
But then that
But
wouldn't be preserved.
yes,
The
but
the
yes, why wouldn't you clean it off? Unusual.
as for the weapon, the sword, it does have runes. It is seemingly some sort of magical weapon. It looks almost kind of Norse in design and in
Wow.
runes. The thing that catches your eye is that the sword seems to almost like tilt so that you can read the runes easier. Like you're not sure whether it was part of the case that's kind of slightly tilted forward, but it did seem almost like it moved for a second. But looking at it now, it's not definitely not moving. But
Did Knight have the blade that Vaughn was working on for him? Just walking
yes,
around.
yeah, he
Okay.
did.
So
Mm-hmm.
this isn't it. This isn't that blade then. Okay, cool. All
No.
right, interesting. All right.
Oh, as the hut stops spinning, I guess
Start
we
heading.
we're potentially the destination. So if we go rest up now, then in the morning well, I'm assuming it's late
I
because
can
we've had
hardly
quite a full
wait.
day.
It's so exciting. I want to go now.
Well, and then lastly, the nature check.
Mm.
You look at the animal heads, bear, wolf, but there's something about each of their heads that looks a little bit more monstrous, whether it be the teeth, the eyes especially. They look less bestial and almost kind of
Or
human. And indeed, in
yeah,
fact,
Mm,
near the neck, where the head has been kind of severed, it looks more muscular. It doesn't look like the head which would attach
so
to a normal
potentially
wolf
a
or bear.
werewolf, a werebear,
uh,
and
were cow,
a
werewolf.
minotaur.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
precisely. Yeah.
Maybe
They,
that's a silvered weapon then.
That's well,
Oh,
you haven't had a
who
look at
knows?
the dagger, so I suppose you can have a look. See if it
Yeah,
looks like it's silver. After all, you're the forge master. You can probably tell what material a weapon's made out of, right?
yeah. I don't care though. Not my problem.
Yeah.
Unless Tanner wants it, I don't care.
I am not
well,
about steel.
As they're on display in Baba Yaga's dining room slash courtroom, probably not worth taking.
I didn't even
Though,
realize that option was on the table. I was just looking at it, not trying to like
Dangerous
heist
option.
hmm,
these obviously precious treasures. Like, let's steal them.
I'll say
hey,
with your
No, thank you.
14 die, you notice not just the blood stains, but the dagger doesn't seem as well crafted as the blade, the other sword does, for sure. It looks more like the design of it is kind of made for like a ritualistic kind of dagger, and less so for like wielding and combat.
Oh,
so
with some blood on it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Would it
Like,
Uh-oh.
it looks like a
less well made,
sacrificial.
as in like fancy but not strong?
Yeah, almost like this kind of serrated teeth-like blade, which
Oh.
isn't usually great for a dagger, but it
It's clearly designed for bloodletting rather than
Right.
stabbing.
exactly, yeah. Yeah,
Senrith,
that's the
I suppose. Actually, do we still call you that, or do we have to go back to Twilight? I'm not sure.
Which do
you can call me either one.
Right, do you happen to know what either of these weapons are? You've been in the hut longer than any of us. Well, I hesitate to call the lower one a weapon.
Mm. He looks at it and says, "The dagger here is supposedly wielded by a madman, or perhaps a warlock. But I see little distinction between the two. You've got to be mad to sign your soul over to someone else. The
I suppose
blood
it
on it
depends
is
on who you're signing it over to, in a way.
the
Perhaps.
blood on the blade is the remnants of its last meal.
its last meal?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So you're saying it's alive based on that, or are you more just using that metaphorically?
I would say this one is alive in the sense that it knows one thing and one thing only, and that is hunger. It it has not been released from this cabinet in, well, all the time I've been here, but I've heard stories from others. I believe Daruka was the one who researched this.
I may have
He
to
would
ask
probably
him at
know
some
more
point,
about it. But
especially if we're going to meet Terrig in the library, and that's, where we're most likely to find Daruka. So.
Do you think it's still alive? Still hungering, or is it
I believe
dormant
this
or dead?
cabinet is in a way a little coffin for it, something to put it to sleep. This isn't just any old ordinary glass. I think it is a containment field of some sort.
Interesting.
This, however, this sword I have not touched myself, but apparently this thing has got its own voice. I
Tanner,
believe
would
it
you ever
will
use
be.
such a weapon?
Yes, Tanner, would you ever use a weapon that has a voice?
I don't know.
I was more referring to a large sword.
I've always been taught that never trust your cutlery that talks back to you while you're eating.
That's a really strange lesson, Tanner. I don't see that
Very
applying very
specific
often.
lesson.
But I see many truths in it.
But Tanner, well, here's the thing. Your shield, you don't really need to hold on to it all that much. So